Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a
What's
light
your
on
story?
incredible. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission? Welcome all to accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a light on incredible individuals and organizations and the work that they do. I'm your host, Josh Basil. I'm a C4-5 quadriplegic paralyzed below my shoulders and a power wheelchair user. I'm the Community Relations Manager at accessiBe and a passionate disability rights advocate and trial attorney focused on breaking down barriers to access and inclusion for people with disabilities. Today on accessiBe Spotlight Sessions, we're joined by Angela AJ Locashio, the Executive Navigator and CEO of Umbrella Alliance. Welcome, AJ.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
I am excited to have you on our show today, and thank you so much for joining us. So let's jump right into it. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
As you said, I am AJ Locashio. I am a late diagnosed autistic with a long time diagnosis of ADHD about 23 years ago. I am queer, genderqueer, a military spouse, also the mom of a retired, medically retired, disabled military veteran. I am also the founding member, Executive Navigator and CEO at Umbrella Alliance, and I am also a board certified sexologist.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that, and let's talk about Umbrella Alliance too. Tell us more about Umbrella Alliance.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a not-for-profit organization. We address economic insecurity of neurodivergent individuals by taking informed, organized, and focused action toward sustainable change in education, employment, healthcare, and social protections practices for people of our community.
Those are some
we
very
look at
important
specifically
services.
at those barriers that are faced by neurodivergent individuals across the spectrum, right? Like we really take an anti-racist and anti-ableist approach because you can't not do that and truly affect change.
And for our audience members that might not know a lot about the neurodivergent population community, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are different definitions out there of exactly what it means to be neurodivergent. For us, what that means is that a person who has one or more co-occurring neurological conditions that may cause a disability when interacting with or moving through the environment or in relationship to other people.
And with this population, kind of what motivated you to create the Umbrella Alliance?
So actually, this is fun. I met the founder. I met the founder, Ange Lloyd, last year after I had put in my 2022 business plan that I was going to either create my own or align with a similar valued organization that was not for profit. I really wanted to address and talk about the huge overlap of the intersections in our community because they're so missed. Right now, when you look at neurodiversity, you see a lot of white women over the age of 40. And that's one voice, but that's not all of the voices. And each of those women have their own intersections, but there are a lot of other intersections that are not represented and should be. So when I met Ange and started looking at it, I kind of took that that sexologist piece of looking at, sexuality is not something that is talked about for a lot of, specifically autistic people. We are considered not to be sexual beings and not to like touch and not to have healthy relationships and things like that. So I wanted to address that. But then there's all of the other intersections, Black and global majority, size, ethnicity, language, all of these things that need to be addressed. And I can't do that myself. I need a community to do that. So Umbrella Alliance is that.
I love that. Now, so much of what we do as communities and within community is power in numbers. The more people we have at the table, I always say the more wheels we have on the ground, it makes our voices that much louder, and it also allows us to not be alone or fall through the cracks as easily. The
Yeah,
second that we're
absolutely.
by ourselves in the corner or this and that, it can be a very scary world without support and without learning from others. Like I will always be a mentor and mentee because I love
Yes.
giving back, but I also love sharing, and there's always more to learn.
Right, right. It's not one or the other, right? We get to slide along that spectrum of whether we're in a learning position or whether we're in a teaching position. Or maybe it's just a kind of sit back and think about it position. But no matter where we are, like you said, we can't, self-care is not about taking care of ourselves. It's about getting the support and having access to the resources that we need to be cared for.
I like that. I like that. No, there's multiple pieces of the puzzle,
Yeah.
and I would love to know more. Tell us a memorable moment or story with your time at United Umbrella Alliance that's kind of had a lasting impact on you.
Right now, at this moment, the thing that is really impacting me is the work that I'm doing with the two young people who are working on the ND23 project, which is our inaugural project. And it's really about creating the space to bring all of the voices together where we can, people can have their small, very local groups, but then we also come together bringing all of those voices once a month to have conversations and to really create action plans to affect change. And Ben Van Hook is our project coordinator, and Brady Esham is our marketing coordinator. And these, young people get such a bad, people are just on them and they say they're lazy and they don't know. And there's the rhetoric of, well, when I was their age, most of us, and I'm 45 years old, most of us cannot say that we have done the things that they have already done. And neither of them are even 25 years old yet. And Ben is in addition to coordinating the ND23 project, he is an autistic self-advocate, a public speaker, community support coordinator for the Organization for Autism Research, the community director for the Autistic Advantage podcast, a master's degree student at George Mason University School of Public Policy and Government. And Brady is also, in addition to being the marketing coordinator for ND23, a sophomore at Mercyhurst University, vice president for the Council for Exceptional Children, the co-campaign manager for AIM for Friends, and an events coordinator for Phi Eta Sigma at the university. They both also are doing Breaking Barriers with Brady and Ben to create and share short videos of ND community members who are breaking the stigma and stereotypes of what it means to be neurodivergent. I can't say that I had done that much at that age. And I really hope that people will hear that and consider age is often overlooked and ageism is a thing. And let's kind of get a little bit more curious about that and learning from each other instead of saying, I'm older than you and I know more than you do.
I love that. And it's so much, I feel like the beauty of the internet today is we're able to connect a lot more than maybe in the past. We're able to learn from each other, see what each others are doing, and be able to have bigger platforms or even platforms in general that are maybe not just local but state but national and global in narrative. So it's a beautiful thing, and I love in today's world the conversations that are going on. I feel like in the last 5 years, especially in the business world, you're seeing more and more businesses start to really embrace kind of DEI and disability and the neurodiversity world. You name it. we're starting to have the conversations. And when you have the conversations, all of a sudden, the more and more you do it, you start speaking disability more, or you start speaking with new abilities because you're more empathetic, you're more understanding, you're more knowledgeable. You just don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And I love with the kiddos or the youth, however you want to say it. I'm getting older as well, but I don't know that we won't get into that. But it's just people are finding their voices, and they're not afraid to speak loudly, which is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it is our responsibility to provide a platform for those voices to be heard, not to override those voices with our own.
That's a beautiful thing. What first comes to mind when you hear the word accessibility?
Well, access to resources, right? Whatever those resources may be, we all need different resources at different times in our lives. A majority of people simply do not have that access. The world being made through the lens that it is, which is white, cisgender, heterosexual, wealthy, capitalist. What that means is that women, transgender, gender nonconforming individuals, queer, Black, global majority, neurodivergent, disabled, specific age groups, body types, cultures, religions, ethnicities, however else you might be othered, we're not considered in the construction of that world. So accessibility means that we're considered.
I love that. And then what's one thing within the neurodiversity world or population that you wish people knew more about?
People like to think, not everybody, obviously, but for a lot of people, the comfort space is in it's either this or it's the other. But that is not that is not true for anything, really. And I wish that people understood that neurodiversity, being neurodivergent specifically, is not a deficit, nor is it a superpower. Each one of us has a different experience, and that experience varies throughout the day, even based on the context of what is happening in and around the environment that we are in at any given time. So nobody should be deciding what is a disability for us and what is not. Rather, I wish that they would participate in the facilitation of our success by listening to us when we say, this thing is currently disabling me, and with this support in place or this adjustment, it can be more abling, and I can reach my self-identified success goals, which often support yours as well.
And then when it comes to the business world, there's always gaps. But what do you think are the biggest gaps when it comes to prioritizing access and inclusion?
That has to be intersectionality. I want to give you a statistic. I actually just referenced this morning on a post. So this is from 10 policies to improve economic security for Black women with disabilities.
Okay.
In 2019, the median wealth of a Black U.S. household was $24,100, while the median wealth for white households was $189,100. The Black-white wealth gap is seen across all wealth measurements and other socioeconomic characteristics. The wealth gap is significantly larger for Black women who face a wage gap and a wealth gap informed by both gender and racial discrimination. One commonly cited estimate found that single white non-Hispanic men's median wealth is $28,900, while single Black women's median health is $200.
Wow.
That
Well,
gap must be addressed in every business setting for any DEI practice to be worthwhile.
well, AJ, thank you so much for being our guest today on accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. Really enjoyed the questions and answers that you provided us, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Josh. I'm honored to be here.
And to all of our guests, thank you so much for staying to the end. of accessiBe's Spotlight sessions, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and make sure to follow us at accessiB_community. And thank you, as always, for being on this journey with us. Bye, everyone.